This story happened about 4 years ago. Me and my wife Rachel had just moved into a nice house. About 2 days after moving in, we met a middle-aged couple, Dennis and Laura. They were friendly and were nice neighbors, and we would often go over to their barbecues and evening dinners. We went to their house one night for dinner and it went fine. We talked and laughed and got on great as usual. At one point during the dinner, I needed to go to the bathroom, and I excused myself. As I was walking, Dennis stopped me and said I needed to use the bathroom upstairs. I should mention that whenever me and my wife needed to use the bathroom, we always used the downstairs bathroom. This would be the first time going upstairs, actually. I had to try a few doors to see which one was the bathroom. I eventually opened the door to Dennis and Laura's bedroom. I don't know why, but I just wanted to have a little look around. As nosy as it was, I'm glad I did. I was looking at the pictures on the nightstand, a few of Dennis and a few of Laura together, some of their children, and then one that took me by surprise. It was a picture that we had taken a few months ago. It was the four of us together. Only my wife's face was scratched out. I thought that's really sick and odd, and it was obviously done deliberately. After seeing this, it made me more curious to see what else was in their room. I opened up the few drawers to see the same thing, that same picture with my wife's face scratched out or cut out of the photo. Just hundreds of them in their drawers. I felt pretty sick with worry at this point, but my curiosity got the best of me, and I decided to look some more. I opened up their closet, and what I saw gives me the chills to this day. It was a mannequin, with clothes very similar to what my wife wears. A large printed picture of her face was covering the head. This was creepy enough, really creepy. But what made it even more scary is, the mannequin was covered with knives and stabbed into the chest of the mannequin. It was prom night, in the place where the prom was being held in a big lodge in the middle of the countryside. The prom was going pretty well. I snuck outside to have a cigarette. I stood outside around the back of the building. I lit my cigarette and enjoyed the view of the countryside. As I was looking around, I noticed something in the distance out in the field. It was a figure walking toward the lodge. I kept my eye on the figure as I was smoking. At some point, the figure must have noticed me because it stopped. Then it started running toward me full speed. Getting closer and closer, I could see it was a man, a crazy dude sprinting really fast with long gray hair, carrying what looked like a hatchet. The guy seemed to be smiling, but angry at the same time. I dropped my cigarette and I turned around to go back inside, but the door was shut behind me as it was a fire exit, and only opened one way. I started banging on the door, screaming for someone to let me in. It was too late to run around the front of the lodge. The insane man was too close, so running wasn't an option. I kept banging on the doors, but I was thinking I wasn't going to be heard as the music was playing loudly, and I was thinking I was about to die. Just before the man got close, the fire escape door opened with my friend asking what's going on. I quickly pushed her back and I scrambled inside. I also slammed the door shut right behind me. As soon as the door closed, I pressed my ear against it and I tried to listen to see if the man was still there. All I heard was heavy breathing. Then I heard footsteps walking away on the stones. I told my friend about what I just saw, but she didn't believe me. She said it must have been one of the guys playing a prank on me, but I know what I saw. I couldn't enjoy the rest of the prom after this, knowing there was a crazy man out there. Luckily, nothing happened the rest of the night, but I always worried about whoever that man was. He saw my face. And if he saw me again, what will happen?
I've been walking for days through a vast desert. I've had no luck finding any water or food. The sun was setting, and I was ready to end another day in disappointment, when I saw a square-shaped silhouette. As I got closer, I could tell that it was a house of some sort. It looked very old and run down. I was very confused as it was in the middle of nowhere, but I was also very excited to finally see something other than sand. As I got closer, I noticed there was an opening, so I just let myself in. There was a wardrobe and a door next to it, and that was it. I was hesitant at first to open the door, but I really needed some food, so I just went for it. As I opened it, I was greeted by a tiny empty white room. I stepped inside and jumped when it slammed behind me. Now I was terrified. The walls seemed to be closing in on me. I thought my mind was just playing tricks on me, but no, they were actually coming closer and closer to each other. I, of course, tried the doorknob behind me, and felt my soul leave my body when I couldn't open it. Time was running out, and the door was completely jammed. By now, the walls were touching my shoulders, and I was stuck. There was nothing I could do.
At first, I liked that my scarecrow actually hunted crows, but now it's hunting bigger prey. I'm alone in the hallway heading back to the bedroom. I hear skittering in the bathroom. My parents tell me it's not my fault that my baby sister choked and died after swallowing some Legos. I told her they were candies. We called another exterminator to take care of the rat problem in our basement. This one hasn't come out either. I like to fall asleep to a metronome. Sometimes it pauses mid-click and restarts. I told the hospital receptionist that my stomach hurt after I ate some eggs. I should have specified that they weren't chicken eggs, because I can feel something crawling inside. I need to get a new alarm clock. It only rings when someone I know is about to die. At first we thought early people placed their dead in caves as an early form of burial. It wasn't until I heard a roar that I realized the true purpose behind it. My son came up to me and told me he broke the lamp in his room. At first I was angry at him until he told me he used it to fend off a man trying to break in. I was watching the news while I waited for my parents to come home from their date. Suddenly I saw a police report of a double murder right outside my house.
My college class and I took an off-the-grid, low-key expedition with our professor in the Amazon. Guess he forgot it was about to be flood season.
She never took good care of her skin. For her sake, I had to remove it.
When Yellowstone finally exploded, there was a huge debate about whether this would mark the extinction of mankind. The debate ended when a gigantic demon began climbing out.
He was happy to be one of the first men to travel out into space. He was unhappy that the math was wrong, and he missed his target and drifted into empty space.
Powerful spells require heavier sacrifices. Take a guess why classic witches looked haggard and ugly, and most importantly, hunted down.
My best friend and I were watching TV when an emergency broadcast told us a serial killer was on the loose. My friend smiled and shook his head sadly at me when they showed his picture as the suspect.
Working as a groundskeeper at a cemetery, people laugh when they see I carry a pistol every night. Ghosts and zombies may not be real, but ghouls, on the other hand.
I was being put under for kidney surgery. The last thing I heard, before I was out, was the doctor saying, "This is the third total penectomy I've done this year."
My house is slowly being overtaken by strange roots that can't be cut or burned by conventional tools. Today I couldn't open the front door.